everybody, and welcome to the first episode, or technically the second episode, because I've already made a previous one, therefore it's the second, of our C++ tutorial. And make sure you have your project opened and this file opened, which is pretty simple. You just click on main.cpp, cpp, which is the C++ extension, by the way. And we will be going over what every command does in our default file does. Oh, I kind of read that incorrectly, but anyways, this is our very first command. Are you ready? Include with a number sign before it, or if you really want to be one of those people who call it hashtags or sharps or whatever the hell you want to call this symbol, pound sign, right here, and then include. And what that does is, well, should be pretty obvious. It includes a file into your project. Now, there's different syntaxes to do this, or really different ways to do it. I don't exactly think, whatever. It's not really a syntactical thing, but anyways, param is the library that you want to include, which this is param, by the way. And param is short for parameters or parameter, which is essentially something that you feed to the method or function or whatever. And, you know, those are essentially inputs. But anyways, a library is a set of functions that are pre-written and that you can access. So, something like IOStream, which allows you to input and output. And I really should have done a specific note for that. So there's that. And these are not classes that you create. For instance, if you created a class in your project, it would not be surrounded by less than and greater than signs. Instead, it would be surrounded by quotes, which is what I go over here. Param is the file that you want to include into your project. Very simple. And we're not really going to be working with that until later. I'll try to do this tutorial quick after this, because I really hate having slow tutorials. But anyways, using namespace param, okay, I really don't think I need to go over the entire concept of a namespace. But basically all you need to know right now is you can put this before, you can like kind of put this as a placeholder, because if I did not have this, and by the way, this is going a little bit ahead, this is how you comment something, just 2 slashes before it. If I did something, if I did not include that line of code, which commenting would kind of essentially make it so that isn't compiled, thus it isn't included, I guess. So if I didn't include that, I would need to put std : which I'm not even sure if I should reference that joke. Probably it's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah. Next thing is the semicolon, and no, this is not a mistake. I did not put this here by accident. This is not messed up. This is not like a messed up program. It's not malformed or anything. Anyways, what this does is you put this at the end of every command, often forgotten by newbies or tired people in programming. So if you're really tired, you might forget a semicolon. I never do. I rarely do, but when I do, it pisses me off, because I'm terrible at noticing small problems. Some small problems are very easy, others aren't easy for me to notice. But anyways, these are used in almost every programming language. Pretty much every programming language you can think of. A programming language that I use that doesn't necessarily require a semicolon at the end would be Lua. Lua, Lua. I don't know. I used to pronounce it Lua, but I digress. Something like this would be a command using namespace std, which I kind of went over that. I guess you could use this for if you want a more in-depth explanation, which I'll be posting all these on a paste bin in the description. But yeah, I mean, just need to put a semicolon at the end of that, which these serve as the end of every command, which a command would be something like that. Yeah. Alright, so anyways, std : cout, or std namespace, or it's just cout if you're using namespace std, which we are. Yeah, we actually should be. I did not notice that. Anyways, printing something that it prints something that out to the console in a console application. Yeah, it's that simple. And this is used by means of concatenation. Concatenation basically means the combination of two strings, which is a sequence of characters, and you can convert things to strings um, if you want to concatenate them. And I think it's automatic. It's automatically converted if you wanted to print out a number. And you could also do something like cout 2 plus 3, and I think that would still work. Pretty sure. Yeah, that would print out 5, obviously, because, I mean, if it printed out 4, I'd be kind of concerned with my computer, because that would mean that something's wrong with the compiler, because 2 plus 3 is obviously 5. And anyways, so yeah, that's how you use std : cout or just cout. I don't know why I like to include std : and yeah, it automatically converts things to strings, if you put numbers or booleans or whatever. And anyways, std::endl, which that just ends the line. STD, not to be confused with the other thing it stands for, if you understand my reference there. STD is short for standard, which references the standard C++ library. Standard C++ library allows for many things such as console outputs, strings, vectors, and much more. It's very important. And it's just a bit of extra knowledge that you're obviously going to need to know down the road. An int is a number between -2 to the 31st power minus 1, which is this number right there, and 2 to the 31st, which is that number right there. And I can memorize these two numbers very well, which is very weird, and it's a bit surprising, honestly. So 2147386 421. Yeah, very, very good. And int main. This is the default go-to function in C++. This isn't necessarily required if you want to make a library or something, which we're pretty much just going to make applications here, console applications. Going to go over the basic syntax. We're not really going to do anything like make libraries, or I don't think we are, at least. Maybe I will get around to doing that, but yeah, so that's pretty much what int main does. It's the starting function, and anything in between these two things, which start and end functions, arrays, etc., is pretty much what's going to be ran at first. And the return 0, I just felt like going over that because I forgot to write down notes for that. I might as well just rewrite that. Return 0. Anyways, what that does is basically this just returns 0, and what that means is it can also mean like you return a value, but in this case I think it just returns that it completed the program. So yeah. It's not required in code blocks because it'll automatically do that, I think. Yeah, see, it just ran perfectly fine. Because I think code blocks automatically adds that. But if you're using a different compiler or different IDE, then it would probably not do that. And main.cbp, this is the file we'll be starting with, if you haven't noticed here already. And what that does is, well, it's the first file, and it doesn't have to be called main.cbp, but yeah, this is what we're gonna call it. It's a programming convention. You don't have to follow them, but that's what a lot of them do. A lot of programmers do. And int main, wherever the int main function starts, I believe it's like this. I'm not 100% sure, so correct me someone in the comments if I'm wrong. Int main is always like the file that has int main is the file that the program starts with, I guess you could say. And it doesn't have to be called main.cbp, as I've stated before. And these two things, which I forget the name for, but whatever. These can be used to start and end an array, declaration, function, loop statement, and more. Like classes, and I really don't want to go over all of that stuff, but I want to quickly go over the most essential parts of, well, at least what I consider essential parts of programming, like logic, loops, and functions. But yeah, that wraps up this video. Do whatever you want after this video. Just throw a sandwich at somebody, okay? See ya. Goodbye.